Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we get started, I'm going to make sure my mic is working because I don't think it is. It's not. Classic. Let's see. How does that sound, guys? You guys let me know in the chat. What's up, chat? Before I do the whole spiel, can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear this one. I am in a secondary location for streaming, which is why I got this cool blue background behind me. You're absolutely fine. Awesome. Welcome to the show, guys. Happy Friday, July 25th. Before we jump onto the charts, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. I'm just an idiot here, yapping on YouTube for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Gonna throw that one up on the screen right now. Last day for this one, code RDF is still running. You guys can get 45% off your favorite prop account. Let's go ahead and hop onto the screen. You guys know the drill, still on this same set of 7 straight to funded Sim Pro accounts. Been running it up this week. We're going to see if we can't keep that rolling. Took a trade towards the end of the live session yesterday. Ended with the trade running pretty close near entry. Told you guys that I would call it out. And what did we do in the Discord? Called it out. Ended up being a nice winner. One of the nicer winners that I've had. Big surprise, not touching your trades and just letting them run to take profit or stop loss is a good thing. So before we do some analysis, let's see what we got going on. Wolf, what's happening? Good morning. Nate already effed it up on Thursday. It's don't F it up Friday. It's don't F it up Friday, guys. That sucks, Nate. Don't do that. Good morning, Chuck. Morning, Brian. What's up? What's up? Nate tilted. Not good, man. Not good. You guys know the answer to that. Set the personality loss limit. Cut it off at a certain point. Absolutely fine. I got back up. Nice. Scott, what's up? Good morning. Aaron, what's up? Absolutely. Wolf is giving his 2 cents. Enzo, good morning. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the show, everybody. Make sure we're good across socials here. Yeah, for some reason. Can't tell if X is connected. Let's see real quick. And then we'll see what we got. So far, opening up with a little doji to the upside here. Cracked yesterday's high. Put the overnight high in. Looking a little bullish, man. We're going to see. I don't know what we got for today. We're fixing to find out. Chat. But first, I want to make sure that everybody can see and hear me across. I know you guys on YouTube are good. Let's see. That's not exactly what I wanted to see. Hang on one second. What's up with this? What's up, X? Why are we not good here? Can we do this? Ah, there we go. We're live on X. We're good to go. Yeah, I can see myself. All right, guys. Let's see what we got going on. Good morning. All right. We got the daily chart pulled up here on ES. It is 9:37 a.m. Market's opening up. Let's see what we got today. See if we can make some money, lose some money. Wait for our setups to come patiently and take whatever trades as they come without reservation or hesitation. Looking at this market, we don't have to continue to review every single day, but overall, consolidated up here near all-time highs, swept the lows, pushed to the upside, swept the highs, swept the lows, pushed to the upside on a nice bullish bar, little bit of consolidation, breakout bar to the upside, and we've continued, as you can see, to fail to get below prior bar lows and just continue to crack prior bar highs. So looking really, really bullish overall. I don't know that we blast off here. I don't see us ripping through the 6450s today. I don't know. I just don't see a lot of news catalyst. I think we've got a lot of news next week, which we do. We'll take a look at that in a minute. And again, just that's pretty much the whole fundamental analysis that I do. Do we have a lot of stuff coming up this week? Do we have a lot of stuff last week? Do we have stuff, right now, today, as far as financial news events goes, or big drivers for the economy, the U.S. economy maybe, or geopolitics that are going to affect these U.S. indices that we're on? That's about the fundamental analysis that I do. That's pretty much it. When is the news events? What are they? Okay, maybe the market consolidates before that. Maybe it rips after that. That type of deal. We'll take a look at that real quick as I'm talking about it. We have, as more people are hopping on, forexfactory.com up here. We have 8:30 a.m. That was it. Nothing for the rest of the day, ending on a quiet Friday. Dead Monday. Literally zero news on Monday. Coming into the rest of the week, we got FOMC on Wednesday. Obviously, that's a big one. We got the conference at 2:30, the rate at 2. We got some other, red folder peppered in here. And then Friday, we got an NFP Friday. So that, to me, could definitely be a reason that we see some maybe consolidation, some hesitation ahead of that week, right? So that's the 2 cents that I got here. That's my thought process. So take a look at this start to open up, right? We're consolidating up here. This area that we've kind of chopped around for quite a while, right around that 6,400, right? 6,400 on ES. Big round psychological number. We got overnight low down here right at that level. I could see some potential for pullback down. We got liquidity down here into the 395s, quite a bit on the book on Bookmap. I could see a potential move down before a pullback up to VWAP. I could see a similar move as yesterday, right? Go and crack the highs up here. I look to get short, and we fade that movement, and we catch that to the downside. So simple mean reversion style trading, back to VWAP, back to areas of high volume here on ES. When the market rips and trends in one direction, I typically take losses. If we sweep highs, sweep lows, come back down towards the middle ground, if I'm executing well, I'll typically take a W. Pretty flat CVD on Bookmap, although I started mine a little bit late this morning, so that's a little bit of a reason for concern. Just maybe a little bit different data until we start to open up here. But yeah, there's nothing sticking out like crazy outside of the 395s. We got liquidity right below price, kind of where we're at here, like the 402 and a halves on the way back down to this overnight low. And we've got it down to the 395s. I might look for a quick trade off of that pretty aggressively if we start to sell off here on the 1 minute. Outside of that, there's orders to the upside. We can go and find orders sell side pushing up. This is pretty evenly spaced here. If we started to sell off really aggressively, the 6380s, I'll actually throw a level on that. We got quite a bit of liquidity down to the 6380s and the 75s. This is my little ray that I'm going to use for liquidity. Above price, it's a pretty nice even stack. We hit the 410s, 415s, 420s, 425s, pretty much every 5 points to the upside. We got liquidity. 425s would probably be the higher end if I was looking for a really aggressive short on this. Let's see. Just taking another look at Bookmap over here on the right-hand side. Yeah, we're pretty tight here, right around VWAP. Yeah, 420s, 425s to the upside. Down below price, I could see it maybe just tapping the 95s and trying it aggressively long off of that. Below this level, I'd be looking down towards the 80s, 75s. Again, just levels on Bookmap, right? Key levels of structure. But so far, just VWAP chop. We're not opening up super extended to the upside or downside here really at all. You can see what we got for the overnight session, right? Push to the upside, crack prior day high, nice bullish move. Through Asia, London, not a whole lot, right? London, we sold off a little bit. We were coming down into that 3 a.m. Eastern time frame. Sold off a little bit, kind of chopped around. We didn't get any kind of crazy reversal that we sometimes see where we just blast off to the upside. So we'll see. We'll see what this market has for us. Again, maybe a long around the 95s. I'd want to see what happens down here. If we're really just going to tightly chop, waiting for some big push lower, some massive push higher is probably not a great move. So I'd probably look long on a sweep of overnight low, a fill of liquidity down here around the 95s. Let's throw a level there just so you guys know what I'm looking at for people that hop on late. We will take a look at Bookmap together in just a minute. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. Again, to the upside, overnight high, right? Prior day high, overnight high. We sweep that, maybe tap the 25s. I'm looking short. Same play as yesterday. Worked out very nicely. Let's see what we got. But as always, guys, appreciate you hopping on. Thanks for being here. Let's close out the week strong. Hey, King Scott, what's up? Bulls make money, Bears make money, Hogs get slaughtered. Story of my life. Shaking my head. I should be retired instead. Scott, that one was funny, dude. That one was really funny. Oh man, you caught me with that one. Hello, Andrew. What's up? Oh, you guys are funny. You guys are really funny. We're gonna have some fun today, guys. I can feel it. Nathan, totally get it, brother. I've issued too. Nate, what happened, bro? Nate, what the hell happened, man? You've been in Discord. We've been talking. We're, I know where you're at, man. Worst type of day. I let myself do things I know I shouldn't, and it cost me, bro. Here's my thought process, and Nate, you can cut me short. Here's the one question: did we set a PDLL, and did we set it to liquidate and lock out, and did we lock it out for the morning? Just had a bad day. I hear you, bro. Here's my deal, guys. Here's my deal. After your second, third, fourth, fifth bad day, you gotta put the guardrails up. There's no turn that shit off. Yeah. Yo. And again, bro, like I'm not speaking from some high and mighty place because this shit is always easier said than done. Excuse my language. I feel it all the time, man. And that's a really bad day. Here's how you prevent it. At least on Project X, temporary fix, right? You got to build discipline at a certain point, guys. You got to build discipline because in a live account, there's no reset button. There's no, there's no personal daily loss limits, right? You could do whatever you want to do. You could blow the account in 5 seconds. Just get the margin call. Like you got to build some discipline, right? You got to understand the market and you have to build some confidence in your approach and be able to call a red day, right? But until then, if you're on Project X, if you're trading with top 1 futures, you have the tool, you have the setting. I've made like 5 videos on it because guys that actually use it eventually really start to turn a corner. And once you do, it allows you to start to build the good habit, right? You can really start to create the good habit. For those of you that don't know, because I know Nate knows this, in Project X, you can set a personal daily loss limit and personal daily profit target. You can set it to liquidate and block, meaning you can say $500 loss limit. If I go down $500, it closes out positions and locks me out from trading for the rest of the day. I can't get back in. And you can set it every single day to lock you from going back in and changing it. So the platform has really given us all of the tools that we need to prevent the blow up day, to prevent the tilt day. There's a whole bunch of other risk parameters in there. Personal daily profit target. Once you get up to a certain point, you find yourself giving it back. I repeat this stuff. It's so simple, guys. But you have to ask yourself in the morning before you're getting ready to trade, why am I not setting this? And why am I not locking myself out from changing it? You don't, in my humble opinion, and I don't mean to be like harsh about it, you don't have an excuse to do it. You don't have an excuse not to do it. There's literally no reason. The only reason is that you don't want to accept the risk and you're going to blow the account on tilt. And then it's just a matter of time. And if that's the way that it's going to keep going, I'd say you got to back off and reassess until you can get yourself into a mindset where, you're going to exercise some control. So Nate, I love you, brother. You've been around for a long period of time, man. You've been in the Discord. You're an OG. You've been here. It's a bad day, man. And first and foremost, I appreciate you sharing because everybody just loves to hop on and say, all green P&Ls, I got it all figured out. And it sucks to say what you said on here. It really does. So I respect it, man. It takes I don't like to say it takes balls because we got women traders, but it takes a lot of courage and guts to say, yo, I had a bad day, and I've had a lot of them. And I'm always going to try to just hop on here and not just say, oh, it sucks, I'm sorry, bro. I'm going to give you what I see working for me, for other traders, what I think can help. And in my opinion, I don't know how the personal daily loss limit, liquidate and lock you out, and locked out every single day, is going to hurt you in this situation. So set the damn personal daily loss limit. You should have the first rule on your computer should be taped to the bottom, is no trades until I lock myself out, and lock the settings every single morning. You have to, because in the morning you're logical, everything's fine, you've been winning, you're comfortable, and you take those 2 losses and you get close to that personal daily loss limit, and you go back and you turn it off and you blow the account. So you got to do it, man. Got to do it. And again, it's not an end all be all, right? It doesn't fix everything, but if you do that, and then all of a sudden you watch a shitty day happen, you go down 1,000, it liquidates and locks you out, you're pissed, you almost smashed the computer, you're like, I wish I could turn this off, I wish I never did it. You come back the next day, you're still mad, then you have a good day, and you have another good day, and you trade your way towards multiple payouts, let's say, for example. Eventually, the wheels start turning, it starts to click, holy shit, excuse my language, I'm able to manage my downside on these bad days and make it to green days, right? So it can help you build the correct habit, instead of having to build it for yourself, like I and so many, have to do before we had some of these risk features. So use the tools, man. It's a fucking cheat code. It's a literal cheat code, guys. Just use the cheat code. Like, you don't have to have an ego about this stuff. Just use the cheat code. So anyway, that's me. Key is survival. Live to fight another day. Yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for you, Nate. I would say that start there, man. Just start there. It's such an easy move. Ain't alone on that one. We survive and charge it for next week. Yeah. Brian says, bro, I've been trading for years. Putting those training wheels on are what saved myself countless times. Use the features, lose the ego. Yep. Brian, hell of a trader, badass trader. He knew about features for Tradeovate to do this, to use risk parameters. Just use it, bro. Use the training wheels. Again, like, it's about making money, man. We're here to make money, not have an ego, not look cool. Like, here's a tool that can help you make money. If you were at a bowling alley and they said, we'll give you $1 million if you knock down 1 pin, and you can put the guardrails up or not put the guardrails up, doesn't matter. Nobody even knows if you put the guardrails up. And you say, nah, I'm not going to put the guardrails up. I know what I'm doing. And then you don't knock over any pins. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? So again, man, it's more complicated than that. It's it's just a basic analogy, but I feel for you guys. Use the tools that you have, and then outside of that, you got to build some discipline. You got to become a good risk manager. You have to understand the randomness of the market and why continuing to trade to straight up L's doesn't make sense. This is all easier said than done, and I've done what I'm describing, what you guys are describing, more times than I can count. Probably more than you. I would say. Trying to adjust my camera here. So that's part of it. As we're just chopping around VWAP, I know that was a long rant, but good conversation, man. This is the good stuff. Yeah, if you're in for the Lambos and other things. Yeah, none of that here, guys. None of that here. Unfortunately, no, not that type of excitement. Oh, let's see what we got going on. Appreciate you guys hopping on, as always. Yeah, we got a handful of people on. You guys know the drill. Smash like, smash subscribe. I'm here almost every damn day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. If you want to check it out, you know what to do. Watching this market really just chop back and forth. If you guys want to check out Bookmap, I can throw that up here in just a minute. But really just sitting at VWAP. Not a whole lot. Kind of expected for a Friday. A no news Friday. Like literally nothing so far. Looks like we're kind of forming that wedge where you might start to break out to the downside or upside, right? Usually once the market starts to do this type of movement, we might break out one way or the other once price starts to do this. Contraction, right? Consolidating tighter. We usually don't just disappear. We start to break out, right? Sometimes we get a wick one way and we break the other way. Sometimes we just, break out in one direction. We can consolidate for a while, but typically when you start to get that kind of loading up of price, we start to break. So looks like we want to try it to the upside, but I got nothing up here. Again, I'm looking for the 95s or potentially above overnight high. At least a sweep of a level. Absolutely nothing in this zone. No trade whatsoever here. Unless we saw something completely different happen on the book and with price and market structure. I'm sitting tight. That's the deal. That's the deal. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we're gonna see if this market's got something for us today, guys. Again, my expectations are modest. I've had a nice green week. I'll post a recap in Discord for you guys. We'll kind of get some review, but set a reminder for something here. But I got low expectations, right? Choppy sitting around VWAP on a Friday with no news. Don't F it up today. Don't push it, right? I'm looking to take trades, put risk on, right? But if there ain't nothing there, there ain't nothing there. And I'm saying that 25 minutes into the session because we're literally just sitting at VWAP. So we're going to hang tight until something happens. Got a little bit of time with you guys. I ain't going anywhere. We're going to chill out on this Friday. See what we got rolling, man. If you guys got trading questions, you had a good day, you got a bad day, let me know. Let me know in the chat. That was a good conversation, Nate. I mean, at least not good conversation. I appreciate you sharing, and there's no conversation. It's me yapping. I appreciate you sharing, and I hope some of you guys can take away some of what Nate is sharing, right? And how you can maybe start to correct some of that stuff utilizing the risk parameters. That's my 2 cents on that. Market's chopping. Let's see. Andrew Baggs, good afternoon. What's up, bro? What's up? And I say trading questions, not dumbass questions. Every once in a while I get excuse my language, I get a dumb question. You can ask dumb questions as far as like what you might think is a dumb question, but like, where do you live? Or like, someone asked what my shoe size was. Just random dumb stuff. So NQ started to push a little bit. Let's check these out on the 15. NQ starting to push a little bit. Dow kind of doing something similar to the downside as ES. Back to ES around the horn, looking a little bit more bullish. These have been all over the map, huh? These have been not correlated. Like what's up? Someone said the three sisters are arguing. Like they are definitely arguing this week, bro. We've opened up with like NASDAQ ripping, ES doing nothing, Dow dumping, or like vice versa. Dow on an absolute tear, NQ was like harshly selling off. Like every tick was in the opposite direction. So, I'd be careful with correlation unless you have, a lot of experience utilizing it and you have a way to utilize it when they're not moving in correlation at all. They're very, a lot of divergence. People, refer to it as a bunch of different stupid smart money concept names, sorry, but they've been all over the map. Interesting to see, for sure, but all over the map. Yeah. Trade. Let's see what you guys say. Tariff and trade news. Yeah, just signed in, and there's Trump news straight away. Oh, there we go. We got Trump news right here. Andrew, I know you're always up on the news. Keep us updated, man. You're my You're my squawk, right? I don't know if you guys know what squawk is. It's just news feed directly into voice, right? Right as it's coming out, they can announce it. You can subscribe to it. Different platforms like Financial Juice, I know, has it, like real time squawk. So as soon as it's like Trump, says something on Truth Social, the tariff deal is not going to be in store, and like immediately, obviously, the market's reacting. It's kind of one of the fastest way you can get news like that if you wanted to. But Andrew, you're my personal squawk, so. Top 1 futures. Yeah, that's what we're trading here. Top 1 futures on Project X. NQ blasting off. RDF, thank you for pointing me towards top 1 futures is what you meant to say. I see what you said. Definitely has been a welcoming change. Yeah. Listen, guys, obviously I'm partnered, I'm affiliated. I'm biased. I stand to make money, but I think it's a solid opportunity. There's obviously always hate and, FUD and all kinds of BS, but do your own research, make your own decisions. I'm hella bullish on top 1. They're like $10 million into payouts this year. They started in April. I like the rule set. I like what I see as far as pricing to rules. I like the Project X platform. I like that they're adding more platforms. We got Quant Tower. We got Trade-O-Vate coming up soon. Hopefully, I don't know when, but Trade-O-Vate Ninja coming to the show soon. And we got deals still rolling while we're talking about it. We got deals still rolling, but this one is still rolling. 30% off the OG accounts, the end of day trailing drawdown, the 20% consistency, and 45% off the standard, the straight to funded Sim Pro, not the standard. Straight to funded Sim Pro. If you guys want to check that out, link is live. I will always keep you guys updated. We haven't had anything too crazy out of them over the last couple of weeks after we got through 4th of July. Maybe we got something cooking. I don't know. I don't really know, but I think we might have something else cooking as well, man. So if you want to check it out, those end today. I wouldn't sleep on that, right? If you're in the market for an account, you read the rule set, which you should do. Go to the site, read the frequently asked questions like you should with any prop firm that you're considering, and say, hey, this is for me, or nah, this is not for me at all, and then make that educated decision. But I'll always bring it to you guys. So you hop in the Discord. I'll always keep you guys updated with what's going on, best deals that I could possibly find. Stuff on Bookmap. I throw deals in there outside of the stuff that I'm partner affiliated with. If I find something that's like, really, really, really solid, it doesn't come around often, like TradingView I often talk about. Whenever TradingView throws their crazy deals together, I'm happy to like bring that to you guys. So, yeah. Just when I turned off all the TVs. Yeah. Zach, I like your comments. Always hitting a good note. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you being on. AVS, you're on here all the time. You guys are regulars. It's really cool, man. It's really cool. I gotta say, like, I really feel like when I hop on here and I get to talk to the same people day in and day out, Wolf, all of you guys actually in chat. Andrew Beggs, Omega, you're a new one. I haven't seen your name before. Scott, always on here. There's a whole bunch of other ones that are not here right now. Ralph and a whole bunch of rest of them. Kingpin, you've been on here nonstop. Nate, you've been here for forever. Brian, obviously, I've worked with you, man. You've been here for a long period of time. The other Andrew, yeah, it's Enzo, you've been on here a lot. Aaron, you've been on here a lot. It's just really awesome. Chuck, always here, man. It's really cool. I feel like we got like a little mini trade room, right? You're watching the markets together. You're getting to talk about them. You watch the craziness happen. You watch the good days, the bad days together, right? Everybody kind of calls out what they got going on. So I enjoy it. I'm really grateful for the community. Got almost 2,000 members in a Discord. Obviously, not that many that are active. Not 2,000. That'd be pretty crazy. But the same thing. People that have been there for a long period of time. And it's just awesome. So Friday gratitude. I'm thankful for all of you guys hopping on, hanging out, and being here. I really am. And everybody that shares, like Nate and some of you guys, Brian, I all of you, actually, Wolf, you all share. You share the good, you share the bad. It just gives so much perspective, right? I think there's so much value in that in itself. People always say, oh, what do you like? Why would you, listen to somebody that's not the best in the, in the world? Or why would you want to talk to other, any people outside of, maybe one person for mentorship or some shit like that? Perspective, man. Anytime I travel, anytime I have dinner with people that are, doing well or not doing well, you gain perspective. You understand their unique stories, positions, what they're going through, right? And not only can you connect with them and maybe give them some information on your perspective, but it's helpful. It's super valuable. I can't tell you how much value I take away from having you guys on here and in a community, right? I'm not talking about crazy experienced traders that have some special tool. I'm talking about the ups and downs naturally working in these markets. It's awesome, really awesome. So market-wise, we are still consolidating near VWAP. Absolutely nothing for me to do here, guys, outside of just FOMOing in for no reason to a short or a long. Looked like we wanted to try the upside. Now it looks like we want to try the downside. I'm looking for a sweep of overnight low, potentially down to the 395s where we still have some liquidity. If not, a sweep of prior day high or overnight high up towards these 425s where we have some liquidity. 420s have some liquidity as well right up here. So we just sit around VWAP. I'm not going to do anything. I don't know. I mean, maybe we can hop on NQ and just take some random scalp trades for fun. But a whole lot of nothing so far. So hanging out, chatting with you guys. Just joined your live and watching your videos. Yeah, I appreciate you. Kobe, what's up? Another one that's always on here. Choppy ES morning. Yeah, be careful, guys. This is Chop City here. Don't, if you're a breakout trader, this shit starts to get dangerous. Excuse my language again. I'm going to try to stop. You take a long up here through VWAP right as we're starting to break above session highs, and then what happens? Right back down through the lows. You start to sell off. You start to sell it right here. We kind of chop around. Or maybe you sell it right here, for example. You start to chop around, pull back up above VWAP. This can be dicey, so be cautious, especially if you're trading breakouts, trading directionally, right? Wait for your setup to come, whatever that is. You got to take an L. But I notice, right, having a community, being able to talk to a lot of traders, when the market's very choppy, consolidating, rangy, kind of just not doing anything, a lot of traders blow up. A lot of traders take a lot of L's. So here we go to the downside. Let's go see if we test this overnight low. 400s, what happens as we start to get down there? Let's see. Watching this on Bookmap. Yeah, I think 95's for me. Have to see what we do if we get down there. Let's see. Let's see what we got. You have better hair than Jim Cramer. Downside, but seeing what gold does. Yep. Trying Discord, very new to me. Yeah, no pressure, man. If you guys want to hop in the free Discord, I'll throw that link in the chat. Discord is just a community style platform. Link to the free Discord is in the chat if you guys want to check that. Let's see. Project X needs alerts. Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. Can't remember last time ES got stuck in a 3-point range like this. Yeah, super tight. Why I'm tanking. Brian work. Payouts for trade. Yeah, man. Anytime. YM target hit. Very nice. Brian. There's value teaching someone what you know about the markets. It's crazy how much insight you gain from listening to yourself speak or think out loud. Absolutely. Tons of value doing that, right? Having to articulate what's going on. Watching this candle print here, guys. We got some volume coming in. Absolutely. Looks like the NQ chart has Parkinson's. So does Bookmap. Yeah, I still got one running on NQ. I still have a long running from this morning on NQ. I'm not going to, maybe I'll pull it up in a minute. I was going to say I'm not going to pull it up, but I got long down here somewhere. Let me look at the 15 because I'll know exactly what it was. Super early in the morning. I got long right off this low. I watched us start to push back up. I threw a limit buy here for about 4 contracts. Wanted to see if we could start to pop to the upside, and I got to take profit up here somewhere near the highs. So this thing will be showing a little bit of profit right now. But again, it's a set it and forget it, right? If we sell off super harshly, I'm out. If we pop to the upside, TP. The morning pre-market stuff, I typically hop on real quick, watch what the market's doing. It's a very simple back through VWAP type of a trade, back to the area of high volume. I usually use a limit buy or a sell. I map out, micros, pretty wide stop loss, pretty wide take profit, and then just let the bad boy run. I find that most times if I hop on and look at it and then close it out, I just clip myself early. So that one will be paying right now. It's on one of the little 50Ks. Trading the 50Ks in the morning, one at a time. And then live account, obviously got that loaded up on the right hand side, but really waiting for some solid, some really solid setups on ES during NYSE session, especially stuff that I can manage. Right, I'm not really comfortable throwing a mini contracts on and then going to sleep. But not bad. 2 W's in the live account this week. Small, like 6 something and then 5 something. No trade yesterday. But green week. Yes. YM hit my trailing stop at break even, then tanked hard. Have to get into another trade. Where snapbacks, ouch, gets me every time. Them jumpy wicks, yeah. YM and NQ, man, they're wicky. Ooh, yeah, look at that movement. Nice. For those of you that shorted YM, very nice. Yeah, they are wicky though, man. These movements are can be pretty crazy to work with. Definitely can be crazy to work with. You look at stuff on NQ, it can be good for scalp and momentum, but you got these crazy movements, really aggressive back and forth. Like look at a wick like that right off the open, even in the middle of like trends and stuff like that, it pulls shit like this, right? We're drifting lower, but before we come all the way down here, we're going to come back above these highs right here, right? So it can be dicey. It can definitely be dicey. Yeah, we're just barcoding here. Maybe we want to try the highs. Maybe. Here, let's check the NQ trade. I'll throw this up for now, guys. Let's see. Yeah, it's looking solid to the upside. We're going to let that bad boy run. Let's see what we get on ES here. Let's see what we get on ES, man. Let's see. Yeah, I'll pull this one up for you guys. Because we might get a TP on this. Again, these are really set it and forget it style trades. This is the NQ trade running from this morning. Again, got tagged in on this one in pre-market. Am I sharing the right screen? Yeah, I got tagged in on this one in pre-market. Here. Right here. Fixed take profit, fixed stop loss. Thank you, miss.
Sorry.
got some coffee delivery, iced coffee delivery getting sent over to me. That's very nice. But yeah, these are kind of set it and forget it style trades. I want to see if we go and tap the highs. If not, that can come down and take me out. These were the ones that I loaded up to play around with in pre-market on NQ. I've still been doing that. No payouts from them, but all of them in profit. Some of them getting pretty close, especially if we can keep hitting TPs like this. But not a lot of value, right? Because I threw this on ahead of time. Again, I wake up around that. Oh, excuse me. Where'd I get tagged? Yeah, right here, 5 a.m. I usually wake up around 5 a.m. Eastern, hop really directly on the chart, splash some water in my face, take a look at where NQ is relative to VWAP and recent market structure. If we are near a low, I like to throw something in like this and run it through the open. Really has been working pretty well. I've been cautious about running them through the open the last couple weeks doing this. Just maybe grabbing like take profit at VWAP, but running something really wide, like a 4 micro trade, something really light, has been pretty helpful. It's been pretty helpful. But let's come back over to ES and see what we can do in the straight to funded Sim Pros. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do, boys and girls. Yeah, while we're hanging out, I'll show you guys this, right? So I made a YouTube video. Let me see if I can pull it up. I made a YouTube video about trade management, the importance of trade management, right? And how you can have perfect entries. You can have, really good stops, targets, all that type of stuff. This is what the cover is. If you want to check my YouTube, this is it, right? This was a review. I'm showing it because it's on here. I have to try to load it up. This was a review of 2 trades that I went break even to on almost immediately that were really valid setups off a level I had been watching. And I actually talked about it on the live session about not doing this. And then I did exactly what I talked about not doing, right? So this isn't me saying, oh, look, I won trades. Or I didn't win either of these trades. We were both break even, right? And the trade management thing is so difficult. It's an adjustment that you need to make, and sometimes it can be really, really hard to do. I'm going to pull up the image that I shared from yesterday's trade where I said, I'm not going stop loss to break even. I will manage this one, as I see fit, but I'm probably just going to let it run, right? Probably just going to let it run to stop loss or take profit. This is a screenshot. This is not a live chart. So I always like to try to be, you guys understand what's going on. This was the image that I posted in Discord right before I closed the trade for, I think, a hair less than this. Ended up being 522. 522 across all 6 accounts, right? Or 7 accounts, excuse me. But the reason I'm showing you this is look at what would have happened if I went break even right here. Look at that. That's enough. You do that enough times, that's enough to drive you mad. It's enough to drive you crazy, right? So I'm not saying never go stop loss to break even. I'm not saying trade management, I have it all figured out and this is the way to do it. But trust your data, right? And what I reviewed on the live session when I was talking to you guys on that day was that a lot of my trades from the extremes going stop loss to break even is not helping me. I'm clipping myself early, or I'm taking these small profits and then letting, the market runs without me. And then I did it in the afternoon, and then I made a video about it, and I really thought on that, and I was like, man, you got to really start to adjust here. Not every trade is going to be like this. I'm going to have trades that run all the way back to stop loss, but I needed to really notate holding on to trades all the way to stop loss or way farther into profit. I'm still discretionary with my closes. I still like to not run a fixed take profit. I like to let the market do what it's going to do. Sometimes you catch an insane dump or pump doing that you'll never catch if you have a fixed TP, unless it's a pre-market trade like you saw that one running on NQ. But look at how that one would have played out yesterday. That to me, I think can be valuable to review. And honestly, if I was stop loss to break even, I probably would have pulled some hair out of my head. That one would have been really tough to stomach. So again, this is the thesis here, the thought process here is review your trades over a large sample size. Not 1 or 2, 20, 30 at a clip, right? What do you see happening? Does this happen slightly more often than not? It's not to say that I won't have a day where this goes right to stop loss, right? Yesterday could have been the day that it went came all the way down here, showed me, $200 worth of profit, and then all the way back up. And had I just been break even, I would have been stopped out for no loss, right? But is that helping or hurting you? Does this happen more often than not, or does that happen more often than not, right? And that's going to be different for everybody. The instrument that you're trading, your entries, the time frames that you're trading, all of these things are going to play into it. But there's going to be something that should work well on average, right? That you continue to try to fine tune and adjust. So this is this was a good review and a really good example. And I really needed one of these, really helpful to just reinforce and hammer home and go, look at what you were about to do, you idiot. Again, look at the, the incorrect trading error that you were about to make that you've made many times recently on these accounts. And again, I know where it stems from, just, while we're kind of hanging out. I know where it stems from. I think it's also important to say, like, why are you doing what you're doing? If you keep going on tilt, why are you going on tilt? Well, what is the reason behind this? For me, what changed was this is the first time I'm trading any accounts with intraday trailing drawdown, right? And I know what works well with intraday trailing drawdown accounts. It's not letting trades come back on you, right? Because now as you move into profit, that drawdown max loss limit trails with you. So going stop loss to break even quickly can be beneficial in those unique situations. Dragging into profit really aggressively can be beneficial. But I traded these for a while with you guys since they came out. I reviewed my data. What did I find? A whole bunch of trades that were just regular full stop outs, right? Where I'm not touching anything, goes all the way to the stop. That's fine. And then a whole bunch of W's. But what do the W's look like? Well, the W's look like as soon as we started to move into profit, I dragged stop loss into profit and I was stopped out for $100. And then the trade moves $1,000 in my direction. So that showed me you got to be cautious doing that. You can tighten up on stops a little bit. You can watch if something moves really aggressively into profit to not have a Trump pump and come back on you. But you got to adjust because you're clipping good trades early. You're holding on to stop losses all the way through. You're creating a very high win rate, very negative risk to reward, and it's just not not showing good consistency for growth. So, but again, underlying factor: why was I doing what I was doing? Why was I finding that I was going stop loss to break even now so aggressively when I haven't in the past, and I've been holding on to trades and stuff like that? Well, I had this new factor that I was thinking about with specific prop firm accounts. That stuff can be helpful to reflect on. Journal it, understand where it's coming from, understand the incorrect, input that you're doing, and then correct that. At least that's the process that I try to take with trading. So, a little bit of review. So I hope that helps, guys. Hope that helps. Hope that helps. Let's see. Let's see. I blame it on the Top Step sim. I don't know what that means, Omega. This will smooth out after 1 p.m. Yeah, maybe. Maybe we get a slow grind to the upside or downside. We get a nice drift. I'm not gonna waste capital here if I don't have to. We're chopping at VWAP. This is a whole lot of nothing for me. Try to focus on fixing the mistake and not making money. That's beautiful. Lewis, I review 10 trades at a time, fixing the most reoccurring mistake and focus on fixing that mistake. Usually I close early. I try to focus on fixing the mistake, not making money. 100%, right? What is the correct thing to do from a chart perspective, right? Regardless of the P&L as a whole, what is the correct thing to do for your trades? What is the largest, what is the largest mistake, the largest problem, right? Work on that, and if it's closing early, you got to figure out how to not do that, So do you typically put your that's great input. You typically put your stop loss around a 1-to-1 R? No, not typically. I typically run a fixed stop and no take profit. That's generally what I do. I like to let the market start to move in my direction. If it shows me crazy consolidation, if we see something crazy on Bookmap, I have a level that we're coming into, market generated information close. That's the typical deal. For me personally, what does my average winner and loser look like? Close to that 1-to-1 R. I'm not a catch a 2-3-4 R trade. That's typically not my style. I prefer a wider stop, wider take profit, closer to that 1-to-1, higher win rate approach. Just helpful to do. Nothing wrong with going real high risk to reward, but you generally are going to have a lower win rate. I think they can be difficult to work with, especially in prop accounts. Good rejection from NQ from value area high. Yeah, I'm hanging on to that one. Not even, hey, I can get it right. NQ cross value area high. Nice. ES needs to wake up and just go 15 points and let's call it a day. Yep. We're sitting at VWAP, guys. This is like nothing. If you're trading this, I would feel bad for you. Be cautious. Unless you're a 1-point scalper or something and this is beautiful, little range, you just keep scalping away. This is dangerous if you're trading it directionally, right? Okay, we come up here, we sweep the low, we start to break the high, we look good, we're holding VWAP, we're coming up. Like, that looks good for a long, right? Kind of. Stop loss down here. Here you are halfway to that stop loss. So this is a little bit sketchy. See if we get a direction out of this. Zach, I love AI, but I question it consistently. Session, yeah. I work with ChatGPT a little bit. Please open the YM once. It's behaving worse than NQ with those wicks and all. Let's look at YM Wolf. Oof. I mean, this didn't look too bad off the open for a short, right? Some of you guys caught that short, but this is, it's a little bit sketchy. It's a little bit sketchy with these wiki movements. Here's near your open, so that's kind of expected, but that type of shit is a little bit, excuse my language, a little bit sketchy. Little bit sketchy. So I could see that. Right back to VWAP. Let's see. NQGPT calling 23,410 as a short. Scott, let me ask you, do you just use Chat GPT, or is there actually some language model or platform that is specifically for trading, or are you just doing something with Chat GPT where you're inputting charts or something, or fundamentals? I'm curious. I'm curious to hear that. Jumpy wicks here. We're talking about it. Grinding for the first payout. Send it, Scott. Yeah, I mean, don't send it, but just keep grinding. Do your thing. Only SL, no TP. Enter SL within a second order. Yep, nice. I'm due. IM wants to go up. It's time to short the NQ. Yeah. We were talking about, take profit and stop loss. Here's what I've come to. My views change on things, right? As I get more time in the markets, more time listening to different traders, I honestly think, excuse my language. Excuse me. I keep saying excuse my language because I'm cursing today. I honestly think that most traders, beginner traders earlier on, nowadays, just from what I've seen from so many that struggle with so many different things, would really do best. Not that it's the best trade management approach in general, but just because they can't handle doing anything different, would really do best setting a fixed take profit and fixed stop loss, right? Decide on what it is, wait for your entry, throw that on, and then leave the chart, and then come back later, right? Because at least if you're not jacking up good trades and bad trades and you're just letting the edge play out, you can review from that standpoint and then say, okay, here's really clearly what I could do to improve my trade management, and then make one step, right? Maybe it's scale out at 1-to-1, hold a runner to 2-to-1, stop loss to break even, right? Maybe it's just stop loss to break even at a specific point, right? That starting point, I think, is better than a more discretionary, intuitive, or maybe market generated trade management, or any type of trade management at all. Right? Structure your risk, set the trade, enter, fixed take profits, fixed stop, and just, walk away. And again, that's because that trade management is so difficult, and it's so hard to make good decisions when money's on the line and the P&L is flashing, right? And eventually you watch what starts to play out, and then you can adjust from there. But that's my thought. NQGPT is a program by a trader named Evan Scales here on YouTube. Nice. No, I do not use ChatGPT. I only use software online. Never DL. Learn that being a beta tester. A lot of computers lost that way. Gotcha. It's interesting. It's interesting, man. Yeah. What I really thought was really cool. What I thought was cool, and again, I know we're just having conversations, guys, and I'm yapping without a trade on, but I got nothing here. I always come back to say that if you hopped on, this is straight hot garbage. This is where you just take unnecessary losses. So till we start to move, I'm hanging out. We'll talk about NQGPT, right? Throw some background music on though for myself here. There we go. Get some Trapanese going. Here's what I thought was really cool. Right? They took in for picking stocks essentially, right? They created a bunch of criteria to create a watch list every week for maybe stocks that they were potentially looking long on, and through a bunch of analysis with technical factors, with fundamentals, getting a little bit of lag here. It starts to do really well, like really, really well. Now, obviously, it's debatable how that's going to work in the long term, all that type of stuff. But it at very least, I think it can consolidate information for you, right? Like some people think like, oh, AI is not going to be as good as a human, right? Like that, but I'm not comparing an AI trading to a human trading, right? I'm saying the human's going to trade either way, but if you were going to, trade stocks, long, essentially swing trade, equities or, whatever, you're just working in your investment brokerage or long-term holdings, right? What would you do when you were creating a watch list? Well, you'd look at a whole bunch of different, factors on those individual companies, right? Tons of different factors on the individual companies. Then you'd hop on the chart. Maybe you look at some technicals. You look at, recent structure. Maybe you look at moving averages, different technical tools, volume. You can leverage AI to do a lot of that research work for you, I think, is what they were trying to display here, and then review. Where in the past, you'd have to be on a whole bunch of different fundamental sites and then charts as well, start to finish, reading every single thing about all of each individual companies, going through stock screeners and being able to do that. So I think stuff like that is interesting. Not like, does AI tell me to buy Apple now with a stop loss here and to take profit? Like that, I don't think we're there just yet. That's my opinion. But I think like the consolidation of a watch list with a detailed overview of all of the things that are going on, like all the information that you would want to know about that stuff, maybe, trading them alongside, like that type of stuff is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So, yeah. Zach, you got it. Yeah. It does save a lot of research. Exactly. Yeah. That's the way that I use AI, right? I use it for research, right? I use it for, for doing math for me essentially out of spreadsheets, right? Doing comparisons, from things like that. I think that can be really helpful. You throw a bunch of spreadsheets in and you say, what % of this is over this, I essentially don't have to work in Excel anymore. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, that type of stuff is interesting, really interesting. And I'm probably going to start to leverage it a little bit on that side. I could see myself doing more of that. Yeah. Oh, nothing out of this market, guys. We got a dead Friday here. Good conversations, though. It tracks the market candle by candle. Kind of neat. It's interesting. Z, I'm setting up my sim account. PDLL. Should I check the box, enable trailing? And if I do that, select realized gains as personal daily loss limit type. Okay, so let me throw a second screen up here to look at this. Hang on one second, brother. Because I'm going to get kicked out of... maybe I can look at Top Step and just look at an account on there without getting kicked out of having two things open. Okay, so for risk settings, you're asking about in Project X what to select, right? So here's the first part. You go to let me pull this up. Hang on one second, so we can look at it. The market's not doing anything, so we'll talk about risk settings. NQ still running, coming back on me a little bit, but That's still showing some profit. No, damn it! Hang on one second, guys. Sorry, trying to pull this up. All right, whatever. I'm going to do it on the second screen. So, Aaron, you with me here? Here's what we're talking about. We're talking about the risk settings in Project X, right? Here's what you can look to do. You set a personal daily loss limit and a personal daily profit target, and you set those to liquidate and lock you out, right? What that is a fixed loss limit and profit target. It does not trail. I would start there. If you enable trailing, what that means is as you make profit, obviously, the max loss limit, your personal daily loss limit, is going to trail up with you. And if you do that on unrealized gains, what that means is the max loss limit is going to trail up with you as you have a trade open and you haven't closed it out yet, right? For example, I'm in that NQ trade to the upside. My daily loss limit would be dragging up with me. On realized gains, that means it only drags up once you exit the position, right? A personal daily loss limit. You would only, we got some volatility coming in here. Let's see, 1034. Maybe we get some movement here, guys. In my opinion, I wouldn't enable trailing. I don't think it needs to be that advanced. I think that can be just more complicated than it needs to be, but you might decide that you want to trail up with it. My personal opinion would be decide what your loss limit is for the day. What are you comfortable losing for the day, right? What is that number? How many trades do you want to take a day, right? You need to take 2, divide that number by 2. That's your max risk per trade. Throw that number in the personal daily loss limit. You can add, like, for example, a $5 or $10 on there just to widen it out a little bit, just so it doesn't maybe kick you out of a trade early. But that's kind of just, that's not a big deal. But I would set that number for personal daily loss limit, set it to liquidate and lock you out. Liquidate and block, I think it says. Yeah, liquidate and block. And then I would lock the risk settings for the day every single effing morning before I put a trade on, right? If you're struggling at all with tilt and going past the amount of money that you want to lose on a day, you have no excuse not to do that. So again, if you want to trail with it, you can. I'm not a fan of intraday trailing anything, even though I'm trading accounts with it right now. I think it just could make it like more complicated and not really make sense. And I think setting a personal daily not make it make sense. Might be helpful for some people. I think setting a personal daily profit target protects you from continuing to trade after you've had too much profit in the account. Setting that personal daily loss limit is your maximum downside. And where I would maybe set something else is I would set maximum trades per day. You got to be cautious with that because if you're scaling, if you're taking scaling in and out of positions and stuff, you can quickly hit a max trades per day. But I would prefer to set a fixed personal daily loss limit, fixed daily profit target, and then max trades per day, right? I think you're safe doubling that, like whatever it really should be. You probably want to double it. And then maybe even a symbol and contract limit, right? Brian was hyped on that one, I know it for sure. But you can set the symbol contract limit, right? So you can't oversize yourself into just liquidation, right? Into the oblivion. So I think that stuff is solid. That's where I would go with it. I don't know. I just don't think you need enable to be trailing the drawdown intraday on unrealized gains. I don't know. I just don't think that's that helpful. I think you'd probably end up stopping yourself out and locking yourself out of trades. Maybe a specific instance is you regularly find yourself running trades into profit and then all the way back down for losses. Personal daily profit target should be able to take you out, and number of trades per day should be able to take you out. But if you want that one on, you can. So that's my 2 cents. Again, just opinion. So many ways you can customize it and work on that. But super helpful, guys. Use the risk settings in Project X if you're trading on a Project X platform. No excuse not to do it. not an excuse not to do it. All right, let's see what that little pump was. Thanks for clarifying, Zach. Makes sense. Yeah, no pressure. No pressure. Again, play around with it, right? And listen, Aaron, and anybody that's considering using it, what's the worst thing that happens? You set them too tight, or you set a trade limit or something, and it locks you out for the day. That's the worst thing that happens. You hit a limit before you want to, and it locks you out, and then you're done trading for the day. I think that's play around with it. Expect that to happen once or twice, and maybe you clip a day early, and you go, oh shit, I had it too tight or whatever. But I think it can be so helpful, man. So helpful. I've watched so many traders do so well with it, and I've watched so many do so poorly without it, and it's always the same story. I went on tilt, I went back in, I turned it off, and then I blew the account. And so once they added lock out the settings for the day so you can't do that, huge play. Because when you're on tilt, all bets are off. You're not thinking rationally, you're emotional, all that type of stuff. EU trade deal could happen this weekend. Ooh, spike. I set trailing once I'm in profit, but you can't do that if you lock yourself out. Got you. Guarantees I won't go back down to the negative. Got you. Yep. That's a cool way to do it. That's a really cool way to do it. Can't lock yourself out first. Yeah. I'm a fan of locking yourself out first only because I think the risk of going back in there is high for traders. We gonna get some movement out of this market now? What's up here, guys? We popped a little bit. Let's just take a look at the news. EU officials and diplomats, European framework trade deal with the U.S. could happen this weekend. That's the fundamentals on that pop there. Coming back down to VWAP. So for those of you that don't know, we got that August 1st. Keep talking about that. Yeah, Friday of next week for a potential big geopolitical news. So I think that could be another reason that we have somewhat of consolidation leading into something like that, right? Oftentimes, market participants, right? You can just think of yourself. Maybe you're looking to get, deploy a lot of capital into a larger account. And you're like, hey, you know what? Let me make sure that we don't just do something crazy on this, EU deal and the market dumps or rockets. Let me just wait for that to happen first, and then I'll go buy my stocks. Institutions, I think, seem to act in a similar way just because they position themselves before, but a lot of them seem to act in a similar way when we watch liquidity come off the book right before news events, that type of stuff. I've been on tilt since I started trading. Welcome to the club. Head fake, yeah. Not a whole lot, man. Not a whole lot out of this. Slow, man. Slow moving market. Super slow, choppy moving market. Looks like we want to try the upside on this, but again, no setup for me, even outside of prior day high, overnight high, prior day low, overnight low. It's just a whole lot of nothing, guys. A whole lot of nothing on this. Whole lot of nothing. This is one of those days where I will question, do I want to just hop onto a different account and start just scalping for no reason, start losing money, or just display the read of this like nothing so far. Here we are. Let's see, 9:30. Here's our 9:30 candle right here. Where are we at? Right here. We were stuck in an 8-point range, an 8.25-point range until just now. Really just straight up consolidating, like nothing. No test of levels, just straight up VWAP chop, right? So this presents me with no good trading opportunity, right? Maybe you identify this as a range and you start to trade that. In my opinion, I think on any other day you just start to get chopped up here. Unless you're a super scalper and you're super zoomed in, working on NQ or something, you're chopping it up, slicing and dicing in here. Past that, now we cracked to the upside on some tariff talk, and we've got an 11.75 point range. That's not really anything for me, guys. Not a whole lot, So when this stuff starts to happen, I try my best to stay patient. I try my best not to say, it's Friday, I want to make money, I want to end the day green. I've been hanging out for an hour, we got to do something, we got to do a shitty trade, the L. And then what happens after that? Oh, man, I lost money. I shouldn't have taken that one. Let me put another one on with like twice the contracts, and maybe I'll just get back to break even really quickly. And that starts going against you, and you know this spiral, right? So this is a whole lot of nothing. I've had a couple of these. I talk about them. I've had a couple of these, but if the market doesn't do anything off the open, like really nothing like today, I don't like to just waste capital. I just don't like to take unnecessary losses, because oftentimes what we find is some volatility comes in, right? 11:30, 12:30, some volatility comes in. So me looking at this, I'm going to set some alerts, right? I'm going to set some alerts on TradingView. If we start to crack to the upside, I'm going to check my phone out. Maybe I hop back on the charts later, look for a trade, look for an entry that I run, towards the afternoon. We start to sell off, same thing. We come down into these areas of liquidity, hop back on the charts, take a look, right? That's my style. Like if I don't find anything in the morning, I know I have more opportunity throughout the day. I don't sit at the charts all day. I set some alerts, then I come back onto the charts. Usually I set them before whatever level I want to check out, right? If I say I want to maybe get short off the 25s, well, maybe I set, an alert off the 20s, right? We start to push to the upside. I might look for to hop back on the charts, kind of watch as we approach that level, give me some time to think, and go from there. Yeah, nothing on this one. Looks like NQ we might get the W on NQ. Might get the W on NQ. Gonna try for that max profit, which is again $600. If you're looking to not push the consistency rule out on something like the 50K accounts, for example, $3,000 is your profit target before you can take a payout. 3,000 divided by 5 to give you 20% would be $600. So that's where that profit target's set. Well, I'm looking at NQ to 23,433. Entry was 23,358. So won't be a complete no trade day, but no trade on the live, right? Want to watch ES, but I'll show you what we got running here. Still running. This is a no touch it. It's a no touch it. Into the afternoon, for example, if we started to just do nothing and chop around, maybe you just kind of get out before the close, before it just drifts lower, and then there's really nothing to do. But this one is go test the highs. Go see if we can't get a little sweep of those highs. Looking strong, looking stronger than almost ES. If they start to drive higher, we get that slow drift into the afternoon. Not going to play out too poorly, but we'll see. We'll see. Coming back to ES here without messing it up on too many screens. Yeah, not a whole lot. Again, same thing, right? If NQ popped that high, I'd probably be looking short. That's why I'm gonna take profits up there. I'd probably be looking short on ES. If we came up here and swept these highs, again, I don't love shorting all-time highs. Like I said it, I said it yesterday. Paid me nicely. It's a tough move in these markets, and hitting the sell button has really worked against me more than it has worked for me in these markets. But you do what you got to do. If the setup comes, you throw it on without reservation or hesitation, in the wise words of Mark Douglas. Slicing and dicing, hell, I have to stand at the computer just to keep my legs awake. Legs, I'm half asleep, brain turned off, I'm watching the stream. Yay, we're hanging, guys. NQ grind higher, trade looks secure, Zach. Yep. Again, I'm on both of these accounts, really, man, because these are intraday trailing drawdown accounts. I haven't traded these. I haven't traded anything with an equity stability score. And then back to trading NQ pre-market. I haven't done that in a while, so I really like frame my expectations that way, right? Where my expectations are on the highest end for me, and where I'm placing a lot of time and energy and focus is in personal live accounts this year, right? For a number of reasons, but that's where I got experience trading the way that I want to trade. If you swap it to a different style of prop account, or you're maybe trading an instrument at a different time of the day, and you haven't done that for days and weeks and months on end and collected large sample sizes, I think your expectations should be pretty low. It should be, well, I'm probably going to, maybe end up around break even. Let me kind of see how this goes and then adjust from there. If you come in just thinking you're going to kill it, straight wins, you're setting yourself up for failure, right? So let's see what we got, guys. Choppy, slow grind to the upside. Trying it. All right, guys, let's see what we got, man. These markets are a nothing burger. Back at 410 on NQ, going nowhere fast. Yep, looking like I'm taking the drive down to Sarasota in a bit. Nice, dude. I am in a different location, a different undisclosed location, but it is on the other side of the country, in one direction or another. If you guys don't know, I'm a nomad. No, I'm not. I'm usually in one spot, but I got a second setup in a different spot, gratefully. So I try not to dox myself too much, but I'm not in Florida. We're in a different spot. Yeah, guys, I got really nothing on this. I wanted to hang out and really wait for a trade. I'll frame out what I'm looking for. Let's see. I'll frame out what I'm looking for into let's see. 33. Okay. I'm looking. God, just had to set something up on looking at TradingView over on the right hand side where I set my alerts. I got alerts set. I got alerts set on TradingView up here. I got alerts set off the 20s, right? If we start to push prior day high, we come up towards this overnight high, I'll probably hop back on the charts, take a look at what's going on. What does liquidity look like? What does CVD look like? You know, we're growing right now. It looks like we want to head up there. If and when we get up here, what does that look like? Does it look like we're just going to blast through? Like we got a lot of volume coming in. It's on some kind of news or pump. I could look for a potential short. Very, very simple. These arrows are going to be very simple. I could look for something on a sweep of an overnight high like that, but more likely it's going to be a crack of the 25s, right? Stop loss way out here. Way out here, 10 point, 15 point stop loss, something nice and wide, and look for a reversion back down towards VWAP, back down to an area of high volume. If we don't do that, and conversely, we start to sell off, I could see it off the 95s. So my actual alert is at 91. Whoa, why is that so low? That's not right. No, we got to throw this up at like the 6400s. Let's say 63.98. I'd be taking a look to the downside, watching the market start to sell off down here. If we really started to push lower, really aggressively, maybe I don't take a trade off of this. I could see something around these levels for a long, something down here. I don't think that we just continue and we sell off all the way through into last week's high. I think we probably bounce, but these are what I would be looking for. As you can tell, my style of trading here on ES is mean reversion, reversal style. That's what I'd be looking at. If I take a trade, it's likely going to be one of these bad boys. It's going to be short around the 25s, long around the 395s. I'd be a little cautious if we started selling off really aggressively to just jump in here because we do have liquidity on Bookmap to the downside. Before we do anything, I'll show you guys Bookmap. This way we can do it. Do it together here. You see what I'm looking at. This Bookmap, my favorite order flow tool. Here is what we are checking out. If I look to the upside, right, unless we blast all the way through 25s, right? Nice level of liquidity up here. It's, just past overnight high and prior day high right here. It would be a sweep of a level of structure, price action up there. I'd want to see what happens. If we have a super duper strong CVD, we're blasting up on volume, maybe I'm cautious. I give it a little bit more time. We start to get up here, CVD starts dropping off. We got some weak price action. I may look to limit right in, that type of deal. To the downside, conversely, we start to sell off. Here's my, 395s, that marker on my chart. We got a nice stack of orders that have been on the book for a while. I think very likely that we come and grab that liquidity today. Very simple. Big orders on Bookmap. I think we're going to go to those big orders. When we get there, they're buy side. There's nothing below. Maybe we reverse, right? But if I zoom out a little bit further, I start looking down to, I had 80s and 75s marked. Why? I think if we really sold off, we started to head lower. That is near another level of structure zone on my chart. If we weren't just going to sweep, overnight low and then maybe come right back in, I think maybe we come all the way down there. Sorry, I got an ad playing. Let's not do that. So for those reasons, potential longs are around the 95s, longs are around the 80s to 75s. If we really sold off, again, I'd want to see what volume, price action, market structure, order flow, everything looks like on the way down. Starting to drop off here a little bit, coming right back down towards VWAP. Again, to the upside, 25s, right? If you were going to trade directionally from the middle of this area, I think either one of these would be a pretty damn good target, right? I think down to the 95s wouldn't be bad for a target, or all the way up to the 25s if you're looking at ES. NQ not coming up to hit my profit target close. Sorry, I zoomed in a little bit too much there. Close. I got 433s. This could get ugly. Could come back down, but that's part of holding your trades towards a winner or loser. Is NQ bookmap. Yeah, to the upside, right into those 433s where I got a take profit. I think that'd be pretty sweet. To the downside, not as much. NQ's order flow looks quite a bit different than ES. A lot thinner of a book for sure, just quantity wise. But yeah, I could see it all the way up to the 23 440s, right, on NQ. Go and test some highs. Right back to 23,400 though. That's where we're hanging out again. See that come on and off the book. That's interesting. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. No trade that I've put on. You can watch the one that I got running. Obviously, that's not helpful. That's not not real live trading. That's showing you a live trade that I have on. But that's what I got rolling so far, guys. Questions, concerns, thoughts? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I will show you guys this as well. Let's get this one on. Just so you guys know, we got 50K accounts getting given away here every damn week. If you guys hopped on, we've given them away the last 2 days. We got multiple people funded on here. It's been really cool. I appreciate you guys hopping on. I'm happy to give back. Shout out Top 1 Futures. As always, if you want to check them out, this deal is ending today. 45% off with code RDF. On Top 1 Futures, this is for the straight to funded and challenge accounts, the intraday trailing drawdown. If you want the end of day trailing drawdown, the OG, the standard accounts, obviously this is my preference. They are more expensive, but I find them to be easier to work with. We were talking about trailing drawdowns earlier today. Obviously, I like a nice standard end of day trailing drawdown if I have to work with any drawdown. So that's the thought process, boys and girls. Here's your chance to take one more look at what I'm looking at to the upside and downside. Again, if we start to blast off, right, or just dump, am I just going to look to limit in here or market in? No, right? I'm going to watch to see what happens. But I got alert set down here and alert set up here. I want to pay attention to the charts, take a look and see if there's a trade set up later into the afternoon. Probably be on the live account, my own personal stuff. I don't play around too much with these unless it's in pre-market or really while I'm setting down. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Maybe I'll find something on here and we'll throw something in for these bad boys. But outside of that, wrapping up a green week, I'll talk about it in Discord. If you guys want to hop in the free Discord, I will throw that link in here. Let me see what you guys are saying on the chat. There is the free Discord, 100% free, not a VIP feeder program, no course, nothing I'm trying to get you to join special so we can hang out together. I do it all free here. You have a video showing how to meet and stay with the ESS. Yes, I do. I have a detailed video breaking down exactly what the equity stability score is and giving you a bunch of examples of how it functions and how you might work to stay within it. So hop on my YouTube. You're already on YouTube. You'll find the video. It's called the Equity Stability Score. It's like me pointing with a magic wand. My editor's getting crazy on the thumbnails. I also have a video dropping this week, Monday, guys. Monday morning, comparing the straight to sim funded and instant funded, the most updated stuff. Again, if you want to check it out, all the info is on their site. Head straight to the site. Everyone's leaving FL. Yeah, man, it's hot, Scott. It's hot there for sure. But I'm not going anywhere. I have just been funded with 4 straight winners on. I have just been funded with 4 straight winners on Top Step. My first 3 trades on funded account were losers. Nice start. Damn, bro. Damn. Yeah, man, slow it down. I'd slow it down. I'd slow it way down, size down, and I would take a look and say, are these normal losses? Are these just standard losses and I just happened to get the losing streak as soon as I got started? Because that happens often. Or, and also happens often, was I doing something differently? Did I FOMO into trades? Did I not execute correctly? What did my trade management look like, right? Was I doing something different? So, that's kind of where I would start. Trump and Powell. Yeah, nice. Yeah, guys, we'll have to see. You the man. Thanks. No problem, man. If I do nothing else, it'll be a WWW week. Long overdue. Like I staying alive. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, guys. Listen, it's Friday. Prop firms have shared this. Also, just talking to traders, working with different traders, I can tell you this. More often than not, traders blow it on Fridays. The worst day for traders is Fridays. And I don't think it's the markets. I really think it's a mindset issue, a psychology issue. It has to do with traders, right? The way that they're thinking about their trades, the way that they act different. On Tom hopped on. Yo, finally got to the office. What is this? How bored you been today? Take a look at the P&L, Tom. I got a trade running on NQ, but yeah, dude, this is what the F is this? Where that meme where it's I forget what movie it's from. He goes, what the F is this piece of shit? Yeah, guys, like this is just not it. This is trash. And then a bunch of trash. We're running NQ long. We're going to see if we can't get some motion out of this bad boy. I'll throw it up one more time for you guys in the chat. Looks like it's coming back down towards VWAP right now. Here's what we got running on NQ. Seeing if we can't get that pump up towards the 600. Stop loss way down. So set it and forget it from pre-market. 5 a.m. tagged me in. Yeah. I got tagged in right there. Not a bad entry. But yeah, seeing if we can't run that. Outside of this, man, nothing. I got nothing on this, guys. This is not even close to an entry. No setup whatsoever. If I found myself anything here, not in any trades, not good. Not good. Tough day. Rushed my morning for nothing. Almost blown through an 8. Yeah, guys. Listen, it's Friday. Take it easy. Don't do anything crazy. If there's no setup, there's no setup. I would not be forcing anything on a day like today. But as always, appreciate you guys hopping on, man. You know the drill. If you find value, smash like, smash subscribe. You don't have to do anything. Free means free. I really appreciate you guys hopping on, as always. But guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I got nothing setting up. You know what the drill is. You know what my thought process is. Shorts on the way up, longs on the way down. If we start to sweep this range, I think we chop. I think we kind of just stay up here. Maybe we sweep a high or a low. That gives me a way to get in. You can see the 95s coming off this level of structure. That ain't bad for a little zony. What happened to my my damn volume profile? My visible range volume profile is gone. It's not cool. Anyway, choppy session so far. Looking like we want to push the highs. I don't mind running that NQ long. That ain't gonna be a problem. We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. Maybe I'll update you in Discord, but I don't think so. I'm back around family today, so I'll be spending some time with them. Alerts go off. I'm gonna look to throw a trade on. A little set it and forget it. Probably off the phone if I can't hop on the desk and take a look at what's going on with Bookmap, which I really like to do. But we'll find out. I appreciate you guys hopping on. Remember, we got giveaways. I think we're gonna have a fun week next week. I don't wanna say too much. Stay up on socials, hop in Discord. I think we might have something special coming next week. I think there might be something cool coming out. I don't know. We're gonna find out together. Hop on the live streams, hang out with me if you want. If not, do whatever you want to do. As always, I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. Remember, guys. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. If you trade, you're probably going to lose all or more of the money that you trade with. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. My stuff is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just an idiot here yapping on YouTube. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts and
the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Have an awesome weekend. I'll follow up with you guys. I'll at least give you a little review because we had a hot week trading live and off stream. So we're I'm sure gonna miss Curaleaf. There you go, Scott. Peace out, guys. Have a nice weekend, Zach. So what? Have a nice weekend. Kobe, have a nice weekend. Scott, have a nice weekend. Tom, everybody from chat, appreciate you guys. Andrew, Luciano, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. Andrew, Wolf, all the OGs. Aaron, everybody that was chatting it up today. Appreciate you guys hopping on. AVS, thank you. Aaron, thank you. Tom, thank you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Get outside, touch some grass, maybe get off the charts for a little bit, spend some time with some family. That's what I'm planning to do. If you got to grind it out, but have a life outside of the charts, whatever you do. Just the way that you would with any profession. You need some recovery, right? You need some recovery. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Trader Julie Kate, thank you. Mamu, I'm sorry, bro. I don't, man or woman, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry, but thank you. I don't like to leave anybody out. I'll talk to you guys in Discord, to the Discord. Talk to you later. Yeah, let me know what you're looking at. If you got trade ideas, you guys are throwing stuff out there, throw it in Discord. Always feel free. Share what you're seeing. Talk to you guys soon. Have an awesome weekend. Be easy.